What if a single, gentle touch could let you notice your pineal energy right now? No special gear, no long rituals, just your body, a few slow breaths, and one short phrase. In the next minute and a half, I'll show you a simple, safe somatic exercise that many people report as a subtle shift in clarity, warmth, or a light, internal pressure, what some describe as the pineal or third eye corridor waking up. You can try this seated or lying down. If that sounds good, stay with me. Centuries ago, small groups preserved teachings that didn't make it into mainstream scripture. We know some of them today from the texts found at Nag Hammadi, including what scholars call the Gospel of Philip. Those writings use a different vocabulary, words like monad for the original source, or archons for obstructive forces. But here we're not debating theology. Think of those sources as historical whispers that point to a practice. People were shown simple, repeatable body signs and the idea that memory, anamnesis, can be stirred by touching certain places. I'm borrowing that map and translating it into plain, somatic language you can test for yourself. Before we begin, a quick note. This is a subjective, experiential practice. Some people feel something immediately. Others feel nothing at all. Neither outcome proves or disproves anything about your spiritual status. If at any point sensations feel intense, disorienting, or unsettling, stop and rest. If worries persist, consult a medical or mental health professional. Keep everything gentle. No force, no prolonged breath work, and no pressure that causes pain. There are 3 focal points we'll use. 3 somatic anchors that many report as gateways to cranial or pineal sensation. I'll name them and describe what people commonly notice so you know what to attend to. The first is the base of the skull, near the occiput, where the head meets the neck. In the old texts, this was described as an origin point. In modern terms, you can treat it as an anchor for cranial energy. When people rest a hand there, it can feel like a subtle warmth, a gentle sinking, or a tiny vibration moving upward into the skull. The second is the outer edge of the hand, the lateral line from the pinky side toward the wrist. Historically a sign of perception or a receptive mark, this line can register as a faint tingle, a sensitivity, or even a sense of extension, like a subtle antenna for outside sensation. It's less about seeing outward and more about feeling the boundary between self and environment. The third focal point is the upper chest, the area over the sternum, where the voice and expression find a home. In contemporary language, think of it as an expression hub. Pressing there gently while speaking can anchor intention and shape how the cranial corridor responds. People sometimes feel a centered warmth, a tightening that feels like alignment, or a small expansion, as if a throat and heart connection opens. Again, these are somatic focal points, not medical diagnostics. They're anchors for attention and possible felt sense. Your experience may be subtle. That's normal. If you're ready, set yourself comfortably, sitting with your back supported or lying flat on a safe surface. Keep your breathing natural and easy. We'll take 3 slow, attentive breaths together to settle in. Inhale gently through the nose, fill the belly and chest, and exhale slowly through the mouth or nose, whichever feels natural. 2 more like that. Allow your shoulders to soften. Let your jaw unclench. There is no need to strain for an effect. Place the palm of one hand lightly at the base of your skull. Your hand should rest where the head meets the neck, fingers pointing upward toward the scalp if that's comfortable. Keep the touch soft, more like the weight of a thought than a firm press. Stay with that contact and simply notice. You might feel a shift right under your hand. Temperature change, a sense of sink, a faint buzzing, or even nothing at all. Any of those responses are fine. If your mind starts doubting or says things like, "This is nothing," or "I'm imagining it," notice that thought and return your attention to the sensations under your hand. Don't argue with the mind. Treat skepticism as background noise, an expected archonic interference in the old terminology, and bring your curiosity back to the body. Hold your hand there for about 30 seconds, breathing slowly. If nothing obvious happens, notice subtler signals, a slight change in pressure, an awareness spreading into the scalp, or a small clarification in the space between your brows. For some people, the sensation migrates forward, like a corridor opening from the base of the skull toward the forehead. For others, it's a quiet warmth that seems to gather at the center of the head. Now, keep that settled posture and move your attention to the lateral edge of your other hand, the pinky side that runs from the little finger to the wrist. With the index finger of your free hand, slowly trace that outer line as if you're reading a very delicate script. Move very slowly, sensing texture, temperature, and any electric or tingling qualities. This tracing is not about pressing. It's about becoming aware of a receptive line along the periphery of the hand. Many people report that as they trace, a faint connection forms between that line and the cranial point you just held. You might notice a continuity, an unspoken channel that links outer perception to inner clarity. Take about 30 seconds for this tracing. If your attention wanders, gently guide it back to the movement and to what the hand is registering. If you feel a flicker, warmth, a pulsing, a sudden quieting, pause and breathe into it. If nothing registers, that's perfectly okay. The body memorizes in its own time. Finally, bring both hands to the upper chest. Place them softly over your sternum, fingers pointing downward. Press only as gently as you would press a song against your heart. This is an expression anchor. When you're ready, with hands there and voice soft, speak the following 9-word phrase aloud once. I remember my origin. Open perception. Claim my voice. Say it with intention, not force. Let the words vibrate in your chest and notice how speaking changes the internal field. The sound grounds intention into the body. The sternum touch anchors the declaration. After speaking, keep your hands where they are and notice any shifts. You might feel a resonance move upward, a mild pressure in the center of the head, a sense of clarity behind the eyes, or simply a small settling of attention. Breathe and observe. Remember, sensations are personal and may be strong, subtle, or absent. If, while you do this, skeptical thoughts or images come up, "This is silly," "I can't feel anything," or "this means nothing," treat them as natural. The old Gnostic accounts described similar hindrances as archonic interference, not an indictment of you, but an obstacle to attention. The practical response is simple. Notice the thought, name it if you like, skepticism, and then return to touching and sensing. The practice isn't about winning an argument with your mind, it's about refining attention. Often the very act of noticing a skeptical thought and returning to the body loosens its hold. You might wonder, what if the sensation is intense? If you feel dizziness, rapid heartbeat, overwhelming pressure, or distress, stop immediately. Sit quietly or lie down, breathe gently, and allow the sensations to pass. If they persist or cause alarm, seek medical or mental health assistance. This brief exercise is meant to be gentle. No extreme breath work, no forceful pressure, and no prolonged strain. If you felt something, anything at all, consider this. Many people describe it as a kind of memory waking up. The Greek word anamnesis used in ancient texts means recollection. The sense here isn't necessarily a literal recall of an event, but an embodied memory. The recognition of a state or orientation that feels like home. Some call it awakening, others call it a tightening of focus, and many simply say it's a quiet clarity behind the eyes. None of these descriptions need to be proof. They are invitations to further attention. If you felt nothing, that too is an honest result. Sensitivity develops through repetition and calm curiosity. You can return to this exercise over days or weeks, but do so gently. Try it after a light walk or after your body feels at ease. Less noise in the nervous system often allows subtler sensations to emerge. A few practical variations you can explore later. Try the sequence with the opposite hands. Experiment with slight changes in pressure at the base of the skull, or repeat the 9-word phrase silently while holding the sternum. Some people prefer to keep eyes gently closed, others like a soft gaze. Notice what supports your attention without forcing a reaction. It's also helpful to recognize that belief and expectation shape perception. If you come to this with rigid expectations, I must feel a flash of light, you may miss quieter signals. Approach it as a small, contained experiment. Curious, open, and patient. If your inner critic grows loud, try labeling it. There's the critic. And return to touch and breath. Historically, the idea that certain signs or marks distinguished a group of spiritually attuned people appears in some later non-canonical manuscripts. I mention this only to provide context. The practice we just did is inspired by those descriptions, but translated into somatic language. We're not asserting that feeling a sensation grants exclusive status or proof of any doctrine. This is about personal experience, an embodied way to cultivate attention toward the cranial corridor often associated with the pineal or third eye. If you want to continue exploring, try this short protocol once a day for a week and keep a simple note of what you observe. A 1-word record is enough. Warmth, stillness, tingle, nothing. Patterns often emerge over time. If you share that pattern with a community, consider using neutral words that describe sensation rather than spiritual labels. This helps keep the conversation inclusive and grounded. Before I close, a reminder about community and safety. If your experience included anything distressing, stop and reach out for professional help. If your experience felt meaningful and you'd like to share, write 1 word in the comments right now. 1 word that best describes what you noticed. Many people choose recognition, awake, tingle, or calm, but use whatever fits you. This is the single, low-friction way to connect with others who are experimenting. Thank you for trying this simple exercise with me. Whether you felt a bright spark or complete stillness, you've taken a step toward attending to your internal landscape. If you'd like a short series of gentle practices that build on this, safe, gradual, and practice-based, subscribe, and I'll bring the next exercise that deepens this corridor of attention. For now, rest, breathe, and carry the quiet curiosity of anamnesis into your day.